Welcome back to the show. Check these headlines this morning. We got a note about Decent Wallet. You're going to want to know that, Decent Wallet. And Gary Gensler gets called out at a code conference. You're going to want to see every bit of that. John Deaton's going to be on Fox Business News today. James K. Filing gives the latest on the SEC versus Ripple. And by the way, here's a little hint. It appears the SEC wants out. They're crying uncle is what I'm saying. Did the ETH crew and Consensus and Brooklyn Project know all the while working with the SEC that Ripple and XRP could be an Ethereum killer? I think they did. They certainly knew it was a competitor. We're going to look at some evidence on that. Could a catastrophic economic collapse, according to Jamie Dimon, be on the works, on the horizon for all of us? And if so, you're not going to believe what one governor of the Bank of Japan is saying about a bridge currency and the monetary system. And I'm telling you, it is straight fire. We're also going to hear from Jerome Powell in that. And we're also going to hear from Jerome Powell on whether there needs to be a blanket ban on Bitcoin or not. And I think you're going to love his answer. The global payment system is vulnerable to attacks, and Visa automated conversion for central bank digital currencies and stable coins. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove and everything that we're talking about here today. Before we get started, the numbers are brought to you by $1.02 XRP, brought to you by Link2. Yeah. Private investing made simple, everybody. Ripple is on the board. Don't forget about it. Uphold, Kraken, Link2. I tell you, there's so many great products and all these others too. Carbon, Automation Anywhere, Zipline. These are great products in different sectors as well. If you're not accredited, fill out the application. Find out if you are, because I tell you what, a lot of people contact me and tell me they're very surprised that they do qualify as an accredited investor. What I can assure you of is there is not another company out here on the planet that has a lower height bar when it comes to being accredited. Remember, these rules are created by market regulators like FINRA, FinCEN, SEC. They have to adhere to those, unfortunately. But the reality is Link2's made it more possible than anyone else that we're aware of to make it available to us. That is amazing. So make sure you check that out. Remember, these products do not last long. Take a look at this right here. We are at $2.070 trillion market cap this morning. There's a lot of money back in this space. We're up over 9% this morning. Bitcoin is showing it too, because Bitcoin's up 10% on the 24-hour and it's 47,300 plus. Ethereum back over 3,000 this morning at 3,200 plus. Cardano at $2.23 and XRP ringing in right here at $1.02 this morning. 9% on the 24-hour. Come on in. Yeah, 9% on the 24-hour. We like that. I just got to jot that note down right there because that is great. Okay, so now with that being said, the range on the XRP price is low end is 0.9388. The upper side of the range is 1.0314. We will keep an eye on it. Remember, not to put ice water in anybody's veins, but the technical analysts have told us we could retrace back to 75, 76 cents. So it's, not to panic if you were to see such a move like that. But this may be on the heels of Jerome Powell's comments, which we're going to discuss in just a second, about whether or not there should be a blanket Bitcoin ban or not. And I think you're going to like his answer, and maybe the market does too. Looking right here, Bank XRP says, nice, call him out. And that's exactly what happens. Listen to this quick exchange right here where he is called out about the inconsistencies from his position at the SEC.
Hi, Gary. Appreciate the regulation of crypto that you're pursuing. One question for you is, you've said that there can't be 5,000 to 6,000 private forms of money, referring to the approximately 6,500 tokens there are. But that's a patently false statement. Barely, the majority of those tokens are not trying to be private forms of money. So how do you reconcile that?
Well, I don't know your first name. I apologize, but I think that you raise a good point. I was using the term cryptocurrencies loosely. They're not all currencies, but I also think that each of these individual projects if they want to compete as a form of money, that's unlikely. If they're competing as something else, if they're offering something to the public other than investment contract. I mean, Preet was saying that they're maybe not investment contracts. If they're investment contracts and they're a form of security, which I think there are many of them are, again, based on facts and circumstances, that would be different. But it's hard to say that they are, all not investment contracts and all not some form of trying to be some form of private money. And then you say, well, they're a commodity. But I'd ask back, how many forms of precious metal really compete as some form of long-term form of store of value?
I guess the answer to that is pretty straightforward, though. You'd have gold and then some other precious metals for different commodities. But I think that we all want you to succeed in pursuing this regulation of crypto, but some of those statements probably rip some credibility off you. So I'd ask you to sort of probably consider them more closely, because it's not like you say that there's file storage systems such as Filecoin, which are decentralized AWS, let's say, and you're not saying that AWS or Amazon stock or Microsoft stock or Google stock are forms of money. I just think statements like that are probably ruffling feathers.
Well, I appreciate your comments, and I'll take them in the spirit.
In a spirited debate. Yeah, listen, there is huge inconsistencies, and it's really bleeding over. But let me tell you what's not inconsistent. It's John Deaton, baby. And he's going to be on Fox News with Charles Gasparino and Liz Clayman Countdown. Make sure you watch. It's going to be between 3 and 4 p.m. He says, I believe I'll be on sometime between 3:30 and 3:45. But tune in at 3 and watch the Liz Countdown, the final hour of trading. It's definitely better than that other channel. Shout out to John Deaton. I'm very, very excited because I tell you, I cannot wait to see what he gets to talk about. And I tell you, just shout out to everybody there at Fox that's covering this story for all of us, because this isn't just for XRP investors. This is so important for the entire crypto space. It is very clear at this point what we've seen, that, Ethereum has gotten a unique advantage, to say the least. All we want is a level playing field. I want Bitcoin to do well. I want Ethereum to do well. I just want everyone else, including Ripple and XRP, to have the opportunity to do well. I don't think it's fair that they get this unique advantage to look past the initial coin offering, and we'll have to see where all of this lands at the end of the day. And be prepared to see the second video today, where we're going to jump into some shocking information that you're going to want to know about. Let's take a look at this. And here's the other part. Did the Ethereum crew know that Ripple and XRP and the XRP ledger could in fact be an Ethereum killer? And I believe that they do know that. I believe that they've known it for a very long time. And we're going to take a look at this first here. While speaking at the virtual Apex Developer Summit earlier yesterday, it was, CTO David Schwartz said that Ethereum virtual machine chains would be one of the first applications of the new feature. The ability to move tokens makes them federated, he explains. The mastermind behind the XRP ledger added that the federated sidechains make it possible to work on a host of new applications that were not possible before. The most exciting one, according to Schwartz, is decentralized finance. The Ripple CTO is convinced that the migrating smart contracts from Ethereum to the XRP ledger could minimize the barrier to entry for DeFi developers. Come on in interoperability, and come on in having more choices for competition to try to make sure you can force these fees and transaction fees to do what you're looking to do down to a more digestible level financially. I mean, it's ridiculous. But this is a article written by Stephen Thomas from Ripple, now at Codius, on smart contracts, because he really put it together there. And he's also a head of Coil. Late in 2013, young Bitcoin developer crashed on my couch for a couple of weeks while visiting San Francisco. In the afternoon, he would come to the Ripple office and join our discussions about smart contracts. His name was Vitalik Buterin. And these conversations led him to incorporate Ripple's key value data structure into Ethereum. If anyone knew the power of Ripple and the XRP ledger, it was Vitalik Buterin. Now you have to ask yourself, was there impropriety on the part of people at the SEC working with the Brooklyn Project, Consensus, and anyone else attached to Ethereum to hold back Ripple and XRP? I believe that a separate investigation by an independent counsel must be done to sort this out. I really, really do. And we're going to get into more information on that in a second video, but let's keep going because it appears the SEC is in fact getting scared, as James Rule XRP says here. I tell you this. When we look at it, it says the SEC requests a telephone conference in order to seek a protective order relieving the SEC of any obligation to respond to the 29,947 requests for admission from Ripple, claiming responding would be too burdensome. I'm not going to read you this whole thing. You can breathe a sigh of relief. But what I will tell you is that remember when the SEC came at Ripple and wanted the Slack communications that cost them more than $1 million to be able to provide all that information? Well, it says here basically, in order to provide all this information about all these transactions being how, applied to the Howey test or not, and how they would shake out, is too burdensome. And the larger point to take away from all of this, I believe, and I'm just showing you these papers, but I'm not reading them to you, but the larger point to take away from all of this, I really do believe at this point, is that the SEC goes through and says this would take like 100 days or more to do, right? And it's just, I mean, they break it down in here, and I think it's on this page, and I'll just show you very quickly here. It says if they were to spend just 5 minutes on each particular point to address each particular point, it would take like, I think they said it's 104 days or something like that. I can't find 100 pages here, length, I'm not going to read it to you, but it would be an extraordinary amount of time. Really, it would take months to do, is what they're saying. And you know what? They don't want to do it. Now, the SEC up until now has been looking for any reason to stall, kick the can down the road, and all of a sudden, they don't want to kick this can down the road. Well, I think for many reasons. I think public has really become aware of a lot of inconsistencies from the SEC on this matter. Number two, I think the SEC is going to have an extremely difficult time, as they wrote in this response, really showing how the Howey test proves that every transaction is in fact a security or not. So this is getting very, very burdensome, not just this request, but the case itself for the SEC. Head on a swivel on that. And head on a swivel on this because
JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said that
Jamie Dimon just told us a few days ago that JP Morgan is preparing potentially for a catastrophic U.S. credit default. Now that is a problem. Now, there's been a lot of economists tell us that there's going to be a 30-40% correction in the stock market, and it could be greater. There's been some to say even 50 to 60%. That would be devastating to the economy. Well, if they're preparing for that, you have to know that this is also an issue. Listen to this gentleman, who I don't know his name, but he's obviously an analyst here on the news, and listen to what he says about the financial payment system, the global payment system being vulnerable to attacks.
I think the number one risk that we're really vulnerable to is the sustainability of the global payment system. It would appear to me that we are extremely vulnerable to having an attack against the payment system of the financial markets.
Now, how about that one? That's a toughie to hear. And I know that the volume was bad, but he's saying about an attack on the payments markets. Now, listen, stay with me here. We already know that they had the GameStop issue, which they blamed on Wall Street bets, the retail investor combined with social media and the power of that to manipulate the markets. And that's a problem for them because they don't mind when Goldman Sachs and JP Morgans of the world do it, but they had a problem when the other retailers, investors do it, right? Then we had the cyber attack on the oil pipeline. Then we had the cyber attack on the largest meat producer. Then we had the cyber attack on one of the largest IT companies, affecting more than 10,000 different businesses that they represent. Now we're hearing the thumping on the ground about the payments, the global payment system being vulnerable to attack. What could fix it? What project out here has been focused on payments and the global payment system and building the market infrastructure, head down, shoulder to the grindstone? It's Ripple, baby. It's Ripple and RippleNet and the use of the XRP ledger, which is in fact a decentralized exchange. Let's take a look right here because it gets even better. That's right. Payment giant Visa has announced a plan to create a system that would allow automatic conversion between different central bank digital currencies as well as stablecoins. I remind you right now of a couple things. One, we know the President's Working Group in the U.S. Treasury is about to release a framework for recommends of stablecoins and even crypto to an extent. This is a big moment, I think, and I think this is foreshadowing of what's about to roll out here. And I think we're about to see very big things roll out. And get this. MasterCard partners with UAE-based Ripple partner to speed up remittances sent via Lulu Money app. That's just another thing, but keep watching now because this is making digital currency interoperable, says Visa shares new thinking on cross-chain interoperability. XRP is the Visa interoperability key. How about that one? Well, if you remember, what they're talking about here is Visa acquired cross-border payments fintech Currency Cloud, which is a Ripple partner. Come on in. Come on in. Knee bone connected to the leg bone. Remember, they say that Ripple at Brad Garlinghouse have been very open and forthright about this from day one. They are not a consumer-facing product. They have said it over and over. So the benefits of what you're going to see is the back end of what you see front end from a company like Visa having Currency Cloud and knowing Currency Cloud takes advantage of Ripple software, right? And then ultimately, if they want the greatest financial savings and full-scale benefit, they bring in a bridge currency like XRP. And by the way, you're about to hear a Bank of Governor of Japan tell you that a bridge currency would not hurt monetary policy for the world. Come on in. Yeah. And Fed, Jerome Powell, has no intent to ban Bitcoin or crypto. And maybe this is having a positive effect on the market this morning. None of what I say is financial advice, but these are the thoughts I have. And Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell believes the federal government needs to regulate the cryptocurrency market, but that a blanket ban on Bitcoin and other digital assets is not in the cards. How about that one? It gets even better. Because I'm telling you, it's coming. And this is a reminder here that I put here to response to the Visa news here. And shout out to Esoteric XRP. Boom. Next up, regulating from the U.S. Treasury and the President's Working Group. Keep your eye out for those papers. And here we have it. This is the Kodoro Haruhiko, I believe it is, Haruhiko, Governor, Bank of Japan. U.S. dollar as the most important international currency is not likely to change, even if there is some central bank digital currencies. As far as so-called bridge currency or crypto asset concerned, I don't see a serious impact for our monetary system. That is an incredible statement. And you watch him say it. And that's Christine Lagarde from the European Central Bank, formerly IMF governor, sitting right there watching him say it.
Of the US dollar as the most important international currency is not likely to change, even if there's some CBDC or digital central bank currency outside of the United States. And anyway, I think you have to differentiate three things from each other. One is so-called cryptocurrency or something like that, like Bitcoin or whatever. And second is stable coin, which is a money issued by private banks or private concerns, but closely linked to the central bank currency, so that the value is stable, fixed, so that stable currency. And then CBDC, the digital central bank currency. And as far as so-called cryptocurrency or crypto asset is concerned, I don't think it would have any serious impact on our monetary system. But on the other hand, certainly stable coin could have some impact on the financial system through which the central bank operates monetary policy, so that naturally we are very much interested in or even concerned about what kind of stablecoin development is likely to take place.
Let me stop you there, just because, I mean, Chair Powell, Governor Kuroda asked you, lobbed a question at you. So we feel that we need the answer, and I will add my own, which is China going to beat you to it?
And the reality is that Jerome Powell's right here, and I'll give you this clip in response, but he really doesn't answer it. But let's listen.
Doing too much, overdoing. We'll answer that question, but I would first like to note that the comments I made earlier about doing too much, overdoing it, I can really only stand in judgment on monetary policy. I would never comment on fiscal policy or current fiscal policy discussions. So I guess I would say it's very important that we as central banks maintain a stable currency and a stable payment system for the public's benefit. We're seeing transformational innovation around digital payments, and we at the Fed feel like we need to assure that we can continue to deliver to the public a stable and trustworthy currency and payment system. So there's essentially myriad private currencies and currency-like products popping up all over the place. And we are working hard to evaluate whether to issue a CBDC, and if so, in what forms. And I would say we're doing quite a lot of work on the policy issues, which are quite significant, and also the technological issues, which are quite significant. And the question at the end of the day for us will be whether this is something that would serve the public well. And something we're looking at quickly, I know we're running out of time, but we are going to publish a paper in the not too distant future in which we lay out our preliminary thinking and seek comment from elected representatives and various interested parties as we work to. So we want to be in a position to make a well-informed decision on this within a couple of years. And I would have thought that that's timely. It's better for us to do this right rather than try to do it fast as the world's reserve currency. But nonetheless, it's an urgent matter because digital innovation is moving very quickly. As Haruhiko pointed out, stable coins can be very popular, and they exist mostly outside of the regulatory perimeter, which we need to be very careful about because this is the public's money that we're talking about. They look a lot like bank deposits or like money market funds, but without the regulation. So.
And there you have it. That's what somebody sounds like when they've been involved with government for so long. They can say nothing for 2 minutes and 4 seconds other than the fact that we were supposed to have this paper out during the summer and we've yet to do so. So there it is. Look, there's a lot going on when you factor in the economy, a potential catastrophic collapse like Jamie Dimon talked about. And let's not rule out the fact that someone could make a play to attack the global payment system. If something of that nature takes place, they will not have the 2 years to respond. they will need to act immediately. And I believe something like the XRP Ledger and RippleNet and everything that has been built over the last several years by Ripple could serve as a solution to a potential threat of that nature. That is for sure. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, share with somebody you know. And you know what? Check out all the links in the description box and the comment section. There's so many great deals in there. Pure VPN, hide your identity online, 99-cent 7-day trial. You want a cold storage? Ledger Nano. And look, by the way, Decent Wallet. Nicknames on Decent Wallet. You can do nicknames for your different accounts, but you know what? Barbara tells us all to be very careful out here, because if you lose that nickname, it's just as important as losing your secret passwords or your secret keys, and you don't want to do that. So make sure you know that. I don't use Decent Wallet, but I want to know about these things from people in these different products. I use Ledger Nano, link in the description. Plenty of sales on that as well. Make sure you check it all out. And by the way, the only thing better than buying crypto is buying tax-free crypto. I can tell you that. And that's I Trust Capital, baby. Click the link. I'll catch you on the next one.